house in Queens, New York. This is the headline, the follow-up. We have the full scoop, okay? We got all the information from somebody that's very close, a very close friend of the family, and they want to set the record straight because they said that they've been looking around online and they've been seeing all these videos, vloggers making videos. Some are saying it's scammer money. Some are saying it's drugs money. Some are saying all kinds of things. Some are saying it's the younger female who was 22 years old that was in the house. It was her boyfriend that killed everybody. And all of that is wrong. We have the full scoop. But let's give you the update first, the headline first. So South Jamaica, Queens. According to NewYork.com, the police arrested a 29-year-old man that was wanted in connection to a triple murder in Queens. Travis Blake is his name, and Travis Blake was apprehended in Maine on Thursday after three people were brutally murdered inside the home in Queens on Friday, June 25th. A sister of one of the victims spoke out about the ordeal on Thursday as balloons dangled outside of the empty home, now turned into a shrine. Days after the murder, people have been coming by, leaving flowers, candles, so on and so forth. It looks like a vigil. We don't know when they were murdered exactly, Natasha said. They were in the house days before they were discovered. Natasha is the older sister of 36-year-old Dervon Brightly. Dervon was the son of the lady who owns the house. Dervon was killed alongside his mom, so it was his mother's house. This is his older sister. Brightly was a security guard in Times Square. He was just having a day off from work and he was chilling and got caught up. We have the full story. I'm going to give you the full story. His mother was 55-year-old Carleen Barnett. I want you to remember the ages and I want you to remember the names. So Dervon is the son of the homeowner that was killed inside the house, and Carleen Barnett, 55 years old, was the owner of the house. She was also killed inside the house, and her goddaughter, which was 22-year-old Vashana Malcolm. Vashana Malcolm was killed inside the house as well. Proper information. When we did our video, I made a suppose and I said, boy, I wonder what it feel like, man. Like, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing. You know, you're a grown person and your life is good in Jamaica and you have the opportunity to just fly out if you feel like it, not because you necessarily want to or have to, but you just feel like it, and go visit your sons and spend vacation time with them in the summer. And that was not the case here. In actuality, the 22-year-old Vashana Malcolm was the one that was visiting. She was visiting from Jamaica. The sister said she came here on a plane. She actually set up her own plane ride from Jamaica, and now she has to go back home in a box to her mother. We're talking about the 22-year-old Vashana Malcolm. Natasha, the sister, also says that Barnett's younger son, he went to the house first at 116 and 11th on 155th Street on Friday to check on them after 2 days of not hearing from them. That's not how it went. I'm going to tell you the full scoop of the story. He found her first, they're saying, and then, which is the young lady he found first upstairs, and then he alerted the police. That's not how the story went from what we got. All right. And remember, I told you this is a very close family friend. Gave us the whole scoop and the whole rundown. Matter of fact, we knew already that he was apprehended before the news put it out that he was apprehended. That is how close to this story the person is that gave us the whole rundown. Right? Okay. So detectives said that they were living at the house and they believe he was living at the house, which is the suspect. Police say he was living at the house and they believe he may be connected to the murders. 3 people were killed. Natasha also said that her brother's mother, which is Carleen Barnett, the owner of the house, she thinks that they had an intimate relationship with the suspect, and when she cut him off, he lost it. He actually preyed on an innocent family who he knew could not defend themselves, is what she said. I would tell him to turn himself in, because right now, this is just a 30-second video clip to the public, but to my family, it's a lifetime of hurt and anger, she said. Now, let's get into the story, right? Not that this is any valid information, but just to give you a rundown of the whole thing. So, the owner of the house then, Carleen Barnett, and the owner of the house, she's from Tivoli Gardens. She grew up in Tivoli Garden. Her mom brought her to the United States of America. We're talking about the big woman who owned the house. Her mom brought her to the United States of America. She's originally from Tivoli Gardens. See, the person who was telling me all the info, the person said, SoFlo, if you know of people, you know how them say you have some people that are living in the ghetto, but they are not ghetto? She was one of those kind of people. Her whole family is one of those types of families. Like, they are very well-reserved people, very ambitious people, very hardworking people, stay clear of troubles and problems. They're not into anything. So, no, it wasn't drugs money. No, it wasn't somebody's scammer money they run off with, like all the other stories that are out there. This was a domestic issue. Listen to the domestic issue, though. So, as it turns out, Carleen Barnett, she is 55 years old, right? She has a house. You know how when you have your house, you might renovate your basement and then rent out your basement to a tenant? I mean, bathroom, kitchen, everything is down there. So you rent it out to a tenant, right? And then you're able to make an income off of your house. While you're paying your mortgage, you use the money, help pay off your house. Or if your house is paid off, that's just an extra income. All right. So the suspect who they are looking for now, he was her tenant at one point. They met at work. And they worked at the same place. They had been together for like a year or so, right? They met at the same place. She said, I have a place for rent. He didn't have anywhere to go. She rented him her basement. He stayed there. Long story short, he made it from the basement to her bedroom. Mind you, according to this, that the police says they're looking for a 29-year-old man, and they gave his full name, Travis Blake. Travis Blake himself is also from Jamaica. He's from Spanish Town. Travis Blake is 29. The owner of the house, Carleen Barnett, she is 55. She had a romantic relationship with her tenant, who made it from the basement upstairs into her bed. So they had been seeing each other. So he was no longer a tenant in the house. Him not pay rent no more for the basement. So the basement was unoccupied. I want you to walk with the story. The basement was now unoccupied because him turned boyfriend, right? All right. She apparently goes back and forth. You know, she travels to Jamaica a lot. And you know, when you're in Jamaica, you have a phone that you use in the US, and then you have a phone that you use in Jamaica. I have one of those phones. As soon as I hit the airport, I hit Digicel, I top up my phone, get my data, get my phone right, and then GPS myself, and I'm on my way. One of those phones she had. Apparently, he searched her Jamaica phone, and he found communications on there that told him that she was cheating. She have a man in Jamaica. So, this is where this all stems from. They got into a big argument. She feels like he violated her by searching up her things and searching her phone, right? Remember, I know him find stuff on the phone where say she might be cheating to him. That's what he took it as. We don't know if she was or not, but that's how he took it. So they got into a big argument about it. I was also told that they were actually planning a trip to go away for the 4th of July weekend. I believe they were going to be in Atlanta somewhere visiting friends and family or something like that, right? And they ended up canceling that trip because of that argument, right? That's how heated that argument was. She asked him to leave her house. Matter of fact, she told him to leave her house, get out of her house. She don't want him in the house no more. Can violate the thing. He must search up her things, and now he's starting big fight based on what he found on her Jamaica phone. All right. He went to work. Remember, they work at the same place. He went to work. She went to work. While he was at work, a co-worker who spoke to the police that are investigating this situation said she saw him at work with a knife, and it looked like one of those hunting knives. And she asked him, "What are you doing with that?" And he said he carries it to protect himself on the subway, because he used the subway, the train, to go to work back and forth. And it's a lot of crazy stuff going on in New York right now on the subway. Well, when isn't there? So that was his excuse to her. But in the same breath, after telling her that this is the knife he carries on the subway, he turned and said to her, "What would you do if you found out that your lover was cheating on you?" This is what she told the police, right? And she said, he asked her that, and she said to him, "I would just leave the relationship, you know?" All right, she didn't think much of it. That same day, while the owner of the house, Carleen Barnett, who he had a relationship with now, she was still at work. He left work early that day. We're talking about the tenant turned boyfriend, the person, Travis Blake, who pretty much you could say is the one that did it. He left work early. When he left work, he went to the house. There is a surveillance camera that caught him on camera going into the house around the same time frame of him leaving work early. This must be when the murders took place, type of thing, in that time frame. So the surveillance camera catch him go inside, right? He went inside and he went upstairs. And then there was a young lady upstairs. She was visiting from Jamaica. Her name is Vashana Malcolm. The lady that owned the house, Carleen Barnett, is Vashana Malcolm's godmother. And she had always traveled to the U.S. to spend holidays with her godmother. So the notion and the story that's floating around out there that that's her boyfriend that kill off the whole of them, it's not true. This is the homeowner's boyfriend, the 55-year-old woman, her boyfriend kill off all of them. This 22-year-old is said to be, from information that we've gotten, was a nursing student in Jamaica. She was visiting the U.S. for the summer. She had only been here in the U.S. for 10 days before she got killed. She was visiting her godmother like she normally does, and she's done this trip multiple times so far over the years. She was in her last year of nursing school. When the person gave me the information, the person said, "Soflo, Vashana is a sweet girl. Sweet. I wouldn't, if I was to say anybody was innocent, it would be her. She was humble, very quiet. She's not a rowdy person. She was in the last year of nursing school in Jamaica, and she came to visit her godmother, Carleen Barnett. Just like that. So she basically got caught up in it. She was upstairs when he left work early, went to the house with a plan. And the plan was to kill everybody, mainly to kill Carleen Barnett, because she had asked him to leave her house now. And she was serious about it. So he went into the house and him killed the 22-year-old that was visiting from Jamaica, the nursing student, upstairs in the house. As the report says from the police report in the U.S., she was found hands bound, tied to the bed, and injuries to her body, and her throat was cut and all these things. You know, they described how she died. He then went downstairs, and her son was downstairs. The homeowner's son, which is Dervon Brightly, he was downstairs. The 36-year-old, he's a security guard in Times Square. The person says, so Flo, you know when you're living in a foreign, right, and the whole family, everybody work, right? So we don't really have time to sit down with each other. So it's like mommy work and she have fair shift, and then younger brother work and he has his shift. Older brother works and he has his shift. So everybody is in and out. And usually the youngest one, when he comes home from work, usually his mom and the rest of them gone work already. So he's accustomed to coming home and the house is quiet. So the first day he came home, the house was quiet. He didn't think anything of it. Him actually went to sleep. You know, you come home from work, you're tired, you get something to eat, you go sleep. And he did. And he woke up the next morning and went back to work again. This is why they had him in for questioning, because they were saying that looks suspicious. All these murders in the house, 3 people dead in here, and you came in and went to sleep and wake up and got ready and went back to work, and you didn't see any of this or hear anything. This is the person who was reported as the person they brought in for questioning. Questioned him, thought they had the suspect or the killer, and it wasn't. He didn't have nothing to do with it. He was the younger son. He lives at the house too. He wasn't just visiting to check on his mom and brother because he hadn't heard from them. He lives there. But it's just a miss in schedule why he didn't realize. The second day now, after he came home from work, he said something just feel eerie in the house. And there's this kind of a smell when it smells off, right? You live in your house, you know what your house smell like. So he went upstairs and the bedroom door was locked, which was his mom's bedroom door. Him say he braced the door open. He broke the lock, kicked the door open, cause mommy never lock our door like that. So he kicked the door open, and that is where he first discovered the 22-year-old nursing student that was visiting from Jamaica, Vashana Malcolm. He then called his auntie, and he called the police at the same time. When the police got to the house, he himself still had not gone down to the basement yet. See? When the police got to the house, the police started searching through the house, and the police was asking him where's his mom and who else live at the house and all this stuff. As they were searching through the house, they got to the basement. When they got to the basement door was locked. He told the police that mom never locks the basement door. Only when she has a tenant living there, the basement door is locked, and she doesn't have a tenant right now. Because remember, the 29-year-old who they said did this, or who they say is the major suspect in this, Travis Blake from Spanish Town, he himself was tenant, but he wasn't tenant anymore when he made it upstairs into Carlene's bed. He became boyfriend and a regular at the house. Him lived there, residency. So the basement was now vacant. He kept telling the police there's no reason for the basement door to be locked, and mom never locks it. So the police lick off the basement door, and when they knocked the basement door down, inside of the basement door they found her son, which is Dervon Brightly, the 36-year-old, and they found the homeowner, Carlene, the 55-year-old homeowner, in there. It is said that when he came there, when he left work early, when the killer left work early, he went to the house, him killed the girl upstairs first that was visiting, went down to the basement, beat her son over the head with something. I guess he was just chilling in the basement, never expected. Beat him over the head with something and then stab him up. Multiple stab wounds and stuff, blunt force trauma to the head, killed him, and then waited for her to come home. And then when she got home, it was a struggle. There are signs of a fight. They struggled and fight, and he beat her up, killed her, dragged her into the basement, locked her and her son, dead son, in the basement, and fled the scene. That is how that actually happened. The person said, so Flo, me I tell you, they're good people. You see all that girl there, the 22-year-old girl, come from good family. They're besties, and she is the girl godmother. Her mom and the homeowner, Carlene, are like besties. Them grow up like sisters. They grow up together. They've known each other their whole lives, and that's how she made her lifetime bestie, her godmother to her daughter, and she always kept that relationship with her. Now, as far as the suspect goes, mind you, I'm going to say it again. He's 29, she's 55, according to the news that we're getting. And, that's an older woman who owns her own home. And she's been working and living in the US for a long time. It was her mom that brought her to the US when she was fairly younger, right? So she's had time to work here, gather our resources, save up over the years, live a good life here, homeowner and everything. And here's this 29-year-old now that didn't have anywhere to go, so she rented her basement to him, and then he ended up having a relationship with her and end up non-pay rent no more. He's no longer tenant, he's in the house, right? Our man. Big fight broke out because him catch our Jamaica phone and saw something on there that he said was her cheating, right? Me, I give the rundown, Listen, at this point, after he did that, he ran, he fled the scene. He booked an international flight ticket to leave the country, but he did not show up at the airport for that flight. Now, I don't know if him book it and then him realize, say, boy, they're hot on me because wanted posters are out with his face on it. So I'm sure they're probably going to be looking at all the ports, airport, a ship port, and I might get caught. So what he did was he went on a cross-country run. Now, while he was doing that, the police were interviewing people, and it was her sister who told the police that, hey, I remember him saying that sometime in June, he was going to be going to Maine. And this is how the police said he has ties to Florida, and he has ties to Atlanta, and of course he has ties to Jamaica. So they would be looking in that direction. But and they looked all those directions and they didn't find him yet until this family member who's close to all of them said, hey, we were having a conversation. I remember him said he was going to Maine sometime this month in July, right? Or by the end of June, sorry. So the police went, coordinated with Maine authority, and lo and behold, they caught him on the run in Maine. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All three deceased were innocent victims from good, decent families. So you can spread the word now when you hear the story out there that this was scammer money, drugs money, or the girl that visited from Jamaica brought trouble to the family and her boyfriend come kill them off. Now you can spread the word that that wasn't so. It was a woman telling a man to leave our house. She don't want there with him no more cause him searching up our stuff and him too jealous and all this. Big argument, big fight, and he ends up killing everybody in the house. That is what it is. Did y'all see the video with him listening to gospel music and saying, Jesus forgive me, God forgive me? People, listen to me. You see them something there? I don't want to beat down Christian religion, but I don't really mess with Christian people too much. You know why? Because most Christians actually believe that they can. And I know they're going to say stuff in the comment section, but I don't care. Most Christians actually believe that they can do all manner of evil during their lifetime. Here's the kicker. Their religion tells them that no matter what they do, their God will forgive them as long as they repent and say they're sorry and say they were wrong and mean it. Their God will forgive them and there's a place in heaven for them after death. That right there make people act all kinds of irrational ways. You see, I am of the belief that there is nobody to forgive you after you've committed certain sins. You understand? And that's why I always tell people about karma as well. Because karma does not care about your religion. You can run to your church, your pastor can anoint you and pray for you and tell you that you must surrender your life to the Lord. And you say yes, and you bow your knees and you surrender to the Lord and all these things. That's between you and your Lord and your pastor and your church and your religion. That has nothing to do with karma. Karma is going to hit you still, regardless. You will have to answer to karma. You will have to face karma. That's just my beliefs. So I'm not beating church people for their beliefs. I'm just saying what I feel is flawed in that religious belief. And it is that you can do things like this, slit 3 throats, stab up and kill 3 people because somebody told you to leave their house and they don't want a relationship with you anymore. And then you can go hide somewhere and pray to God and he will forgive you when you have a place in his kingdom and in heaven. That's BS to me. This is sad. This is sad. I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, why she take up relationship with the little 29-year-old boy? She 55 years old. She should have looked her own age, man. Well, that's what they say when it's vice versa. And is a man and he's done wrong by a younger female. You know, people say stuff like, you really feel like this like a 20-something-year-old female did want you. You are 55. She did use you. You didn't see it, you know? I don't know the basis of their relationship, but obviously there's an age difference there. 55 to 29. Some people are going to say he was a moocher all along and he worked his way from the basement quickly to her bedroom and didn't have to pay rent no more and all that other stuff. He worked where she worked at. They both worked at the same place. That is how they met. I'm sure when she met him, she did not think that she was going to be meeting the person, or she was meeting the person who was going to be taking and ending her life. I'm sure of that. But anyhow, that's the full rundown of the story. There you have it. This person who gave us the information was very adamant on letting it be known properly that these were good people. They weren't into anything, no criminal activities. This was one mad, sick, crazy person that could not take a rejection and decided to do this. Typical story among our people with our men. Woman can't leave and just leave, so she have to get stabbed up, she have to get shot, she have to get killed, you know? Typical story. It's another one of those. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Tell me if you knew any of the people involved and what you have to say about them and about this situation as you've heard it so far. He is in custody. And yes, he is a Jamaican, Travis Blake. He is a Jamaican as well. He is now in police custody in the US and he will have to face the music. I don't know, but I saw the picture where he was, or the video, which I share with you, where he was listening to the gospel music and praying and stuff. And I sing and I said, Jesus, forgive me and all these things. And being a military person myself, I recognized certain things, like he had dog tags on. The dog tags also had silencers on them. That round plastic thing that is on the edge of the dog tags, that is what we use, say, in the infantry, so the dog tags don't make a lot of noise. And other parts of the military use them too. But tactically speaking, as an infantry soldier myself, we used those so that when your dog tags are dangling, because the dog tags are made of metal, when the dog tags are dangling, they're not making a lot of noise. So it's a way to keep quiet. And I realized that he had those on his dog tags he had around his neck. And he had on a t-shirt that looked like one of the BDU dress t-shirts, the t-shirts that go under your uniforms. So I don't know if he has a military background. I will stay close to this to find out. Maybe he did like a 2 years, 4 years or something. We don't know, but we'll find out. All right. And this story is not over yet. We will continue to follow the story. So hit that subscribe button and hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new update comes, or every time a new video is uploaded to SoFlo TV, or every time we go live on SoFlo TV. Walk good, people. Be safe. I'm out. Peace.